All right, welcome in to the Sports Huddle on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 on the FM dial and online at SEMOESPN.com. Eric Shawn and the lead singer of the Mike Rennick Band in studio are Yuengling Sports Huddle Studios. Yuengling, the iconic American lager, America's oldest brewery. Yuengling, you can join us here in the huddle. Here's our EBOMD huddle hotline number, 573. That's the area code. 587-6912. 587. Yeah, there we go. That's my phone number. 573-334-1220. Dr. Rennick in studio this morning.
So you're a 587er, huh?
I'm a 587.
So am I.
You're a 587 too.
Yeah, was that early Sprint, I think maybe was 587?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sprint, who is now T-Mobile.
Right.
Have you seen many of the T-Mobile television commercials lately? They are claiming
No, not.
They've got the biggest and the fastest network and have overtaken Verizon. That's what they say in their commercials.
Well, I bet they do. I bet that's what they're going to say. Why wouldn't they, right?
You got to be able to back it up, though. You can't make claims. So
unsubstantiated claims don't go very far.
I believe them, and I have. It was a transition from Sprint to T-Mobile. I've been nothing but happy with T-Mobile. Areas where when it was Sprint only that were a little dicey are no longer dicey now that it's T-Mobile. So I'm happy with T-Mobile.
That's good.
Plus my free MLB TV annual subscription every year simply for being a T-Mobile subscriber.
All right. You've given them enough of an advertisement.
There we go.
Enough of an advertisement.
All right. Again, the EBOMD Huddle Hotline number, no eights in the number, 573-334-1220. And a lot to get to. We've got football news, good and bad, and we'll talk about Andy Reid nearly getting shot in his office.
Wow.
At Arrowhead. How about that? And I guess the big football news in the state of Missouri today is Eli Drinkwitz, who on Tuesday said, give me 24 hours on this thing. You got to give me 24 hours. And tomorrow, Wednesday, I will announce who our starting quarterback is going to be. Bo Pribula, Sam Horn, and then everybody waiting for Drinkwitz, who addressed the media and said, no decision.
Still up in the air.
No decision. We're going to play both on Thursday, which is a week from today, against the Central Arkansas Bears. I want to evaluate them during game competition. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, that
you should be able to roll.
Seems to make sense
over Central Arkansas if you got a wide receiver playing quarterback.
Well, you probably should if you're Mizzou, but yeah, I mean it's if the competition is that close, during practice and scrimmage, why not essentially use a preseason game to help determine who your starter going forward is going to be?
Do you think in your mind it will be big in terms of who potentially is going to win this battle, who he sends out there for the first series of the year?
Say it again. Will that be the...
In your mind, whoever he sends out there for the very first series of the season, if you see Pribula jogging out there or you see Sam Horn jogging out there, in your mind, is that potentially a tell?
I don't know. I could see where someone might think that it is.
You get paid big dollars.
It'd only be natural, probably, for him to roll out who he thinks might be the guy and see how he performs. Which begs the question: if he goes out and performs well, does he just stick with him? Or does he have a plan in place? Okay, this quarter's going to be, you. This quarter's going to be you. This series of downs. But you would think that the first guy that runs out there is probably who he thinks would potentially be his starter for the season.
Some more drama.
Yeah, more drama.
Here's the quote from
He likes
Drinkwitz.
the drama.
Yes, I would agree with that. Here is the exact quote from Coach Eli Drinkwitz. I informed the team this afternoon that both quarterbacks will play in the first game. I want to see them in a game day situation to make a final determination. End quote. I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't either.
What do you think about now? A couple of years ago, the Tigers had the SEC's leading rusher. Running game not as good last year. Brady Cook was good. Brady Cook had a very good career as a Mizzou Tiger. What do you think about the preseason SEC media poll with turnover there at quarterback, the most important position? Tigers selected 12th in the SEC.
Yeah, I saw that.
That surprised you?
I don't know if it did really. I mean, I think all the factors that you just kind of laid out. You lost, obviously, Luther Burden III. You lost your longtime starting quarterback. I think we kind of discussed the running game will potentially be better this year. But there's probably a lot of unknowns. And in a conference like that, I mean, it doesn't take much for you just to get, shoved to the back of the pack if you're not, operating on all cylinders. So I think they got to earn their stripes, probably, for sure.
The first 6 football games for Missouri are at home.
I looked at their schedule a couple of days ago, and I noticed that. And then they have Bama at home, I think, this year.
Correct. And South Carolina.
And South Carolina at home this year. I didn't really pay attention to their. I saw the Central Arkansas on the schedule.
Yeah. They've got A&M
more
and
softies,
Mississippi
though. More
State
soft.
at home.
I mean, they're known. It seems like Mizzou football and basketball are known for a soft schedule to start the season, and everybody gets all, oh gosh, look at the Mizzou Tigers, and then they hit conference and they get waylaid at times.
So it'll be next Thursday night, 6:30, Central Arkansas. Then Rock Chalk,
Kansas
comes to Faurot Field.
They're pretty good.
Following Saturday.
Yeah.
Then it's Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. Then SEC play. So there's a chance there to be 3-0. I don't know what Kansas is bringing to the table. They are much improved to what they used to be. So it's Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana. Would it surprise you if they're 3-0?
No, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think that Kansas game could be tough.
South Carolina was one of the best teams in the SEC at the end of the season last year.
Right.
They come in on September 20th. So South Carolina and Mizzou always play in Columbia. Just depends on which state we're talking about.
Very
they're
true.
Playing at Mizzou. Then it's UMass. So if somehow you win that South Carolina game to go to 4-0, you should be 5-0, hosting Alabama on October 11th.
And then it's just one more game and you're bowl eligible, right? One more win.
They go to Auburn, at Vanderbilt. They've got Texas A&M and Mississippi State at home, at Oklahoma, and at Arkansas to end the regular season.
It's SEC
No
football,
Georgia.
but the schedule is actually fairly favorable for them.
I think so.
Given what we're just talking about, they're in a transition year. Don't know who the quarterback's going to be. So
there's quarterback turnover at Alabama.
Right? Yeah. So you find a little lightning in a bottle, you may end up with a pretty darn good record at the end of the season.
I got to think they're going to be favored big in the first 3 games. I don't know about that South Carolina game. They may be a home dog in that game, but leading up to that game, which is week 4, we'll see how South Carolina looks. We'll see how Mizzou looks. We'll see how the quarterback scenario looks for Drinkwitz. And then we'll know if they're going to be, obviously they'll be a favorite against UMass and likely a home dog against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, that's an 11 a.m. game when Alabama comes in.
The Bama game is?
Every game prior to that, not going to be 11 a.m. So Central Arkansas, 6:30. You got a 2:30 game against Kansas, 3 o'clock against the Raging Cajuns. It is a flex game for South Carolina. So they'll announce that, I believe, the week of the game or maybe the week prior. It'll either be 2:30, 3:30, or nighttime, 5 or 7. That's just the way the SEC has it set up.
Well, I like that Thursday night. And it may be just for the opener. I like that Thursday night game.
SEMO's played some Thursday night
openers. Here and there, and I don't know, for whatever reason, just has a nice feel to it. You know, you're especially for the first game of the year.
A few more eyeballs because there aren't as many games on a Thursday.
Maybe the schedules aren't as hectic. You know, weekend schedules can get crazy and keep people away potentially. So it's kind of neat to see Mizzou have that going on.
Been to Central Arkansas a lot lately. Played in a tournament, basketball last year. A couple of years ago, it was football where SEMO had a 3-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter and lost. Remember the year they lost like 4 games in the final 10 seconds of the game. So been to Conway a bunch. I don't know. Could you see the Tigers whittle out 8 wins?
I don't think it's necessarily out of the realm of possibility. I mean, again, it just depends on what kind of team, they have. I don't know much about their receiving core this year, but the schedule seems favorable, and I don't think 8 wins is out of the question.
You said yesterday on this show that you've been keeping an eye on the Little League World Series. It's fun.
It is fun, yeah.
It's fun. Last night, I don't know if people were following the Little League World Series last night, ESPN, but you had a pretty good showdown between South Carolina and South Dakota. Okay, elimination game.
Okay.
So they're going into the bottom of the 6th inning. These are 6-inning games. Going into the bottom of the 6th inning, and South Dakota leads South Carolina 1-0.
Going into the bottom half.
Bottom half of the 6th.
All right.
South Carolina, the home team. And South Carolina ties the game, so it's extra innings. They go to the top of the 7th. South Dakota gets 5.
Mm-hmm.
So they're up 6-1. South Carolina, last licks. So they get last bats, and all of a sudden here they come. They come back to make it 6-4. A bases loaded walk makes it 6-5. Bases loaded, 1 out for South Carolina. Down 6-1 in extra innings. And this out ended.
That one is to right, and it is past the right fielder, diving Layfeld. One is in. Here comes the winning run. Andrew Bogan does it. South Carolina shocks South Dakota, and they win it 7-6.
So the right fielder for South Dakota, it was a line drive toward the right field line.
Okay.
He lays out on a dive. It hits the very edge of his glove and rolls a little bit by him. He gets up, he throws home, but it's late, and they get 2 runs and walk it off, down by 5 in extra innings. and South Carolina comes back to win it.
Ah, man. Well, that's tale of two feelings right there. But, South Carolina obviously on top of the world, and you hate it for the players of South Dakota, but that's baseball, right? I mean, we were talking the other day. Now, I know the score is completely different, but you brought up about the stealing home and, those sort of things. I mean, the leads are just not safe. They're not safe in professional baseball, and that last inning, shutting the door, that's why those closers get paid big money.
They get paid big dollars.
Because it is not easy to do.
Even getting outs in the eighth. Let's go talk to Ryan Helsley.
Ryan Helsley, yeah.
I mean, that's the way it goes.
But it's amazing how those scripts just flow like that, Just hard to shut the door.
So those kids, they're always obviously going to remember their time in the national spotlight, Little League World Series, but South Carolina, they're always going to have a story now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was fun stuff.
Now that wraps up this weekend championship.
The way that it shakes out now, South Dakota is eliminated. South Carolina advances to another elimination. It would be an English word entitled elimination. South Carolina with an elimination game today against Vegas.
Okay.
The winner of that game advances to face Connecticut for the United States Championship. The winner there, between those two teams, advances to face the international winner for the Little League World Series title.
Okay.
So it looks like today, tomorrow, Saturday. Don't think they're pushing that to Sunday.
But they've really expanded that coverage too. You get regional games now, leading up. So
and the Little League softball World Series,
right? Yeah.
Which you gotta love.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure your daughter,
enjoys watching that. And I even saw a little summer ball. I don't know if it was older, Cal Ripken. There was another championship. Seemed like it was high school age guys that was on ESPN the other night as well. So they do a really nice job of shining the light on the youth, especially on the baseball side of things, and giving the big spotlight on the ESPN networks.
So the St. Louis Cardinals didn't. The good news is they didn't lose any ground in the wild card standings. The bad news is another game ticked off the schedule and had a chance to sweep the Miami Marlins, but you had your doubts, Mike, when you saw that it was Sandy Alcantara who was pitching for Miami. Went into the game with an ERA of 6.31, so he has not been very good, 6-11. In his previous starts, since he blanked the Cardinals on July 29th, 5 shutout innings at Busch. Since then, Alcantara against the Astros, 6 runs. Against Atlanta, 5 runs in 5 innings. His previous start last Friday, it was a 2-1 loss for the Marlins. He only gave up 1 run in 6 innings. So you talk about up and down. And then he faces the Cardinals last night. It's 7 innings. It's 1 earned run. He gave up 2, but 1 earned, and that was the home run by Wilson Contreras. And that was the 7th career start for Sandy Alcantara against the Cardinals. His career ERA against the St. Louis Ball Club, 1.71.
And do you think he's got any kind of...
It's like Zach Wheeler numbers against the Cardinals.
Extra juice when he faces the Cardinals, former team.
Absolutely.
Just wants to, you sent me off to this debacle of a baseball club in Miami, so I'm gonna put it on you. And he does every time.
Every
time.
Single time.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Cardinals didn't look too good last night. Palante, he was, gave up 5? Is it 5 runs? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know about him, Eric. I know he's this ground ball specialist, or supposed to be at least, but he has just really struggled. Well,
the numbers on Palante in his last 10 starts, Cardinals have won 1 of those 10 starts.
Who does that remind you of?
It was Fetty.
Eric Fetty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not good. Since the All-Star break, Andre Palante's earned run average is 6.99. It's 7. That's 4 consecutive starts where he's given up 4 or more runs. That's not good. Clearly.
I mean, I don't know how that keeps him in the rotation. I mean, I get it maybe for this year, but if this is the way he finishes the season, I'm not certain how you can't be thinking, man, what are our other options for, starting rotation here?
And then you've got a guy who is just fresh into the major leagues who does not have a career major league hit for the Marlins. His name is Maximo Acosta. You can't expect Palante to get Acosta out. Let's face it, Maximo, it was kind of a cool moment, though, if you're just a fan of the sport.
We've seen the list he's been on over the first few weeks of his major league career, but Brennan Bosch was the one that started up hot.
Maximo Acosta to center field. Numero uno. He's on the board. His first major league hit is a home run. Maximo Acosta.
And his family, you saw them in the stands, and they were going nuts, going crazy. I like those stories. Okay, it stinks that, he hits a home run against the Cardinals and against Palante, but Maximo Acosta.
Yeah, that's
first big league hit.
Fun to watch, unfortunately, against the Cardinals.
The bullpen for the Cardinals, it was 3 innings, or actually 3 2/3 innings, 1 hit. Veneziano, Granillo, Ryan Fernandez got the final 2 outs. Cardinals just couldn't get anything going. All 5 of their hits came against Alcantara. So the final 2 innings, they did not lay a mitt on the Miami Marlins bullpen, statistically one of the worst in the sport. The Cardinals sent 6 men to the plate in the final 2 innings. 4 of the 6 struck out. And so now it's on to Tampa Bay tonight, where, you talk about you don't know what you're going to get. Sonny Gray will be on the mound 6:35.
And I think he's pitching much better. Hopefully he can.
Until he ran into the Yankees.
Yeah, that's true.
You just don't know what you're going to get. I mean, sometimes he is just lights out, and then, the Yankees turn the lights out on him. Did you see what the Yankees did last night?
Refresh my memory.
So 2 nights ago, they're playing Tampa Bay.
Right.
Who the Cardinals are getting ready to start a 3-game series with. They hit 9 home runs.
2 nights ago.
Yes. That tied a franchise record. 3rd time they have hit 9 homers in a game this year. The New York Yankees. And then last night.
2-2 to Wells. Fairbanks deals. Deep to right. There it goes. See ya. A long drive into the Tampa night. A 2-home run night for Wells. And the Yankees are up by 3.
He meant so much to this club early with his offense, and he's went through a really hard time, but he has bounced back on this road trip to give really big at-bats, and that's a huge home run, Michael. That 3-run lead is so big.
That is Joe Girardi, former Cardinal. Second home run of the game for Wells. It came in the 10th inning, right after Giancarlo Stanton hit a 10th inning home run. He's got 15 now. Trent Grisham hit 2 home runs in the game. and so did Austin Wells. No Aaron Judge home runs.
None of that with
5
Judge.
homers. So that's 14 home runs in the last 2 games against the Tampa Bay Rays.
Hopefully that trend continues when the Cardinals come to town.
I wonder if the Cardinals are going to be a team that does not have a single player on their roster that hits 20 home runs.
Was Contreras leading right now?
17.
17? Oh, no. They'll get the 20. I tell you.
Burleson has 15. Here it is. 17 for Contreras. Burleson, 15. 13 for Nootbaar. 12 for Gorman. Ivan Herrera has hit 10. So has Nolan Arenado. And there you go, the double-digit home run guys. They may not get a guy to 20 homers on the entire roster. But they might.
I think they will.
Okay.
There's a lot of games left still. But that's obviously not there.
And there's a really good chance they won't have an outfielder hit 20 home runs.
That is a very good chance.
Now, how many teams in Major League Baseball can say that?
You know, I know we come in here and we harp on some of the usual suspects. Nolan Gorman.
You ever see that movie, by the way?
Great movie.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It is a great movie. But Nolan Gorman, Jordan Walker, I mean, man, they just disappoint. 0 for 4 last night for Nolan Gorman. He's hitting 219, I think. Jordan Walker, 3 Ks last night. I don't know.
Some of these veteran pitchers
don't know.
Just carve Walker up.
They just chew him up. They chew him up. I mean, you hate to see. I know that Gorman's got the power. Walker has the accolades and the physique, and you feel like you don't want to part with those two because of those things, but they got to do something with them because it's not happening at the major league level, in a Cardinal uniform at least.
So it's on to Tampa, and again, no game Saturday. They're going to play today, and it's a night game, George Steinbrenner Stadium, 6:35. Tomorrow night, 6:35. No game Saturday because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a preseason football game, and then they'll wrap the series Sunday. It's an 11:10 a.m. first pitch. No Roku, no Apple TV, not an attractive game as far as those entities go. So everything's going to be FanDuel Sports. So you're not going to have to be searching for where you can pick up the game.
11:10 on Sunday?
Yeah. On Sunday nights, for now, you have been able to watch the standalone Sunday night baseball game on ESPN. Going forward, the reports indicate it's going to be NBC and Peacock picking up not only Apple's Friday night slot, but also Sunday night baseball. And I don't think that's going to be a big issue for a lot of people because NBC, Peacock, I think people are much more familiar and have a much better track record with NBC than they do with Apple TV. So the Friday night game going away from Apple, I'm sure, is going to make a lot of people happy.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then if you're NBC, all of a sudden, and that's why you've got Peacock, but you'll have Sunday night football, NFL, and have for years. Now, with the NBA going to NBC, you're going to have Sunday night NBA games, and you are going to have Sunday night baseball games if the reports are accurate.
Yeah, I like watching games on NBC. I think they produce the games well. I've always enjoyed watching.
Do you have Peacock?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. But to your point, yeah, it's going to be probably easier for fans to access the games on the Friday night side because they're more familiar probably with Peacock than they are the Apple TV. I don't have the Apple TV, so I just don't watch or
I've got Apple
Listen.
TV, but I don't tune in to a lot of their games because, unless they're Cardinal games, and there have only been a few. But on this past Sunday night on ESPN, Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, stepped in the booth, and a lot of antenna went up when he started talking about geography, realignment, expansion. Here is the soundbite from Rob Manfred, which sent the baseball world into a bit of a frenzy.
And it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. And I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for, entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we, sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be two West Coast teams, and that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. So I think, I think the owners realize that there's demand for Major League Baseball in a lot of great cities, and that we have an opportunity to do something good around that expansion process.
So he hinted there at East and West. And many people are fearful. Some like the idea. Many people are fearful. Here we go. It's going to be the freaking NBA. Eastern Conference, Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
And then realignment and then expansion, who many believe, insiders believe, Nashville and Salt Lake City are the leaders in the clubhouse. Portland is mentioned. Raleigh is making a run. Austin, Texas would like to get an expansion team, but many close to Major League Baseball believe that Nashville and Salt Lake City are probably the front runners. Don't know when that would happen, if it happens, but it means a windfall of money. But these comments come the season prior to the new collective bargaining agreement, which many believe we will have some sort of a work stoppage. But they're certainly going to be talking about expansion, which you would think the players and the owners would love because that's more windfall, more money. But East versus West, changing around divisions. If you've got 32 teams, the math works for 4-team divisions, 8 of them, 4 on each side of the ledger, whether you say East, West, or American League, National League. And I hope they don't abolish American League and National League.
Well, I'm with you there. That would be that'd be tough. But how do you start? How do you start figuring out who's in which? That's going to obviously mean that some teams that were in the American League, maybe National League now, or vice versa, right? I mean, you might start seeing that.
The last teams that we saw move, the Astros went to the American League,
right?
And then years before that, the Brewers went from the American League to the National League. Because remember, in '82, when it was Cardinals-Brewers in the World Series, the Brewers were an American League team. So those are the 2 most recent teams to switch leagues. But there is a lot of angst from a lot of quote-unquote traditionalists and old-school people that there's just going to be too much movement. Now, the commissioner could have just been talking out loud, throwing something out there and kind of seeing what's going on and what kind of feedback he's going to get from that. But there have been people on their keyboards going to work. Here's my proposal for the new divisions and what teams should be where. And a guy like Jim Bowden, and I'll tell you what he thinks coming up from MLB Network, he is separating some of the great and classic baseball rivalries. Bowden has Cubs and Cardinals in different divisions. Dodgers and Giants, different divisions. Yankees and Red Sox, of course, same division. I mean, there are multiple models of people that are saying, okay, it's going to be Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Phillies. Really? All of the high dollar?
Yeah, on the same.
All the big payroll, all in the same division?
Well, I mean, would that be a good thing though? Like let them fight it out amongst themselves as to who the king of that division is. Maybe does it level the playing field, so to speak, by aligning some of these teams based off of market size and potential payroll. I don't know. You would hate to take those classic franchises though and have them all just be together, in one. But
what do you do with the Cardinals? I mean,
Nashville.
Are you going to? Yeah,
Reds.
Nashville's going to be there, but are you going to keep them with the Cubs? I mean, if you've got the New York teams, and if you've got, I don't know what they're going to do with the Ohio teams.
Yeah, because you have Cleveland.
But you've got two in Chicago, White Sox, Cubs. Are you going to go with the two Missouri teams in the same division?
Yeah, can't you?
Cards Royals?
Kansas City Royals, the Cardinals. You would think.
White Sox, Cubs?
You would think
Could you do that?
You could. Yeah, you could.
But who are you pairing Nashville with? Atlanta?
Well, if part of what he said was to, which I thought he may say this, cut down on travel.
Yeah.
So what are the best patterns, so to speak, I guess, travel patterns maybe, not that should necessarily dictate all of it, but, what teams are the closest in proximity to where the travel, will be the lightest.
I think New York fans want to see Yankees, Mets 11 or 13 times a year.
Do I think they do?
Yeah.
My gut reaction is yes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, but
would you want to see Cardinals Royals 13 times?
No, I would not.
Neither would I.
Yeah, I would not. I just think that fan base is different than the Cardinals and Cardinals and Royals.
So one other thing you'd be saying is the Yankees and the Mets could never meet in the World Series.
Well, that's the other side of it. Yeah, putting all
Royals
those teams
and Cardinals
together
could never play in the World. Not like they played a bunch, but it's not even possible.
Yeah.
All right, the voice of the New York Yankees, Michael Kay, weighed in on this on his show. Most people are not a big fan of some of these redesigned divisions. Michael Kay, though, is.
So some drastic change actually does work. It actually works. But this is big-time drastic. This would be the biggest thing that Rob Manfred does, other than if he can get a salary cap at the next collective bargaining agreement. So the sport that your kids are going to grow up watching, hopefully, like my son Charlie, going to be completely different than the one that I grew up with. Completely different. Completely different. Is it for the better? I think it could be for the better if they knock off interleague play. Because all of those rivalries that you dream about, they're in the same division now. Mets and the Yankees don't need interleague play. They're in the same division. Cubs and the White Sox don't need interleague play. Same division. Dodgers and the Angels, same division. And maybe if you did that, the All-Star game would mean something again. And more importantly, the World Series would mean something because that might be the first time that you face that team. It's worth a try. I'm not saying the game's broken because I love the game, but you could tweak it a little bit. You could tweak it a little bit. You tweak it a little bit, and it might make it better than what you love.
So that's Michael Kay's thought. It might make the All-Star game better. I'm not making any major decisions for Major League Baseball, because I want the All-Star game to be better.
No,
What?
Doesn't make any sense.
I understand back in the day, the American League never faced the National League, so when you saw them play in the All-Star game, it was very unique. Same thing about the World Series, but a lot of these teams are not going to the World Series. I don't care about I care about the All-Star game in that I like to watch it, but make the All-Star game mean more because you're not playing interleague play and this is the only time they'll face each other. All-Star game in the World Series, that's not a factor to me. How about you?
Not the All-Star game,
Yeah,
no.
that's what I'm saying, but I mean, he made a point to bring up the All-Star game.
Yeah, no, that doesn't seem to jive. I mean, I think the ultimate point, though, is there's a real something's has to be done. Something's gonna have to shake out here, or else there's probably not gonna be baseball. There's a good chance there's not gonna be baseball after next season. Isn't that where it goes through? So, you can kind of sit there and just go, well, we're just gonna trudge forward with the way that it is. But if that gets you to no deal and it gets you to no season, then that's worse than how the divisions are going to line up. I mean, if you don't play, I mean, what does that do to the game? It just pulverizes it. So
I think the people that criticize interleague play the most are the same people that criticize the home run derby, the media. Because interleague play has been a rousing success financially for Major League Baseball. Fans like interleague play. Now, you'll get those media members that come out and say, oh, really? So everybody is sitting on the edge of their seat for Twins Reds. Is that what you're saying? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got everyday matchups in Major League Baseball. You're like, who cares? Those are non-factor type teams. You don't think Cardinal fans, now I understand they didn't show up like they did 2 years ago. Nobody's showing up at Busch Stadium these days. You don't think they like to see the New York Yankees come in once every 2 years?
Absolutely they do.
You don't think, I mean, the teams from the American League, you like to be able to see some of those teams and some of those stars.
Yeah, I mean, there are some, like when they play...
Fans like it.
When they play Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
There's going to be series like that.
But don't you think Yankee fans are in the same division? Oh, Tampa Bay's coming?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just regular season interdivisional games where you're like, okay.
Right. Yeah, no.
Are you fired up about the Pirates? If Skeens is pitching, sure. But the Pirates, okay. They're just not a factor. But interleague play, for the most part, has been a very positive thing for baseball.
I think for the most part, yeah, I would agree with that.
But if you read some of these media, let's get rid of interleague play. Come on, it reduces the World Series, the All-Star game, and the.
Now, what do you think about playing every team on your schedule?
I don't mind that.
That's reduced division games, right?
Oh yeah,
that part of it. We talked, I think, earlier.
But you used to play, what did you play, 19 times?
I don't know the exact
now that's been
number.
reduced to like 13 now?
Well, I think one of the things we talked about earlier in the year was probably due to that. Like, you didn't see the Cubs until really late in the season,
Yeah.
And that's, I guess,
that's schedule maker type
somehow
things. You're still playing them as many times as you're playing the Brewers and the Reds and the Pirates. Howie Rose is the longtime radio voice of the New York Mets. So you heard from the voice of the Yankees. Now, the voice of the Mets, Howie Rose, this is what he sent out on social media on X. This, talking about what Manfred said on Sunday Night Baseball, this is what I've been telling you is inevitable for quite a while now. The American League, 1901. The National League, 1876. will cease to exist as we know them, the last move before total destruction of the traditions that made baseball great. I think he's got a point. You want to see the abolishment of the National League and the American League because of travel? I mean, they used to take freaking trains everywhere.
Yeah.
Because of travel? And I understand what he's saying also about if you're talking about Eastern time, okay? Let's just go Eastern time. 7 o'clock starts versus West Coast starts at 10 o'clock.
Sure.
But it's West Coast teams versus teams east of the Mississippi or where you're in the Eastern time zone, Central time zone. So start times, okay. I don't like it.
I can tell. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it, to tell you the truth. I mean, I'm maybe
you
not.
You got to think more about it.
Yeah,
I understand.
See how it would. I mean, because right now we're basing opinions on other opinions and not necessarily seeing a plan that's been presented. So, okay, here's how the divisions would lay out. Yeah, we're done with the American League. We're done with the National League. Those things, all I think would need to soak in some to see how I kind of feel about it. I'm probably not as tied into the fact that these leagues have been around for so long, and that would, cause a lot of angst for me. But I just, I'm not totally sure yet which side I would fall on.
I still say with the DeWitts now not spending any money anymore, the best division for the Cardinals. White Sox, Rockies, Pirates.
I'm with you.
There you go.
I'm with you.
That is the best way to compete.
I'm with you.
All right, Jim Bowden from MLB Network, Radical Thoughts, and MLB.com puts out their thoughts on realignment. What do you think of what they had to say? And Andy Reid almost got shot. Talk about it. Sports Huddle. Sports Huddle, SEMO ESPN, 1220 AM, 93.5 on the FM dial and online at SEMOESPN.com. I've heard an interview with Scotty McCreery, and he grew up in Carolina.
Yeah.
North Carolina. Darius Rucker's a South Carolina guy, South Carolina Gamecock guy. But he considers them all to be from the Carolinas. And he had the idea of this song about nostalgia and summertime and your best summer and what happened, when you're 17. And Hootie and the Blowfish were big
for
at
him.
that time.
Yeah.
And to reach out to Hootie and put them in the song, I just thought it was freaking genius.
Yeah, that was great.
Right, you a Hootie guy?
I love them.
Yeah.
I think they're great. And sometimes you hear the mashups, where they kind of use a piece of a song here, a piece of a song there. I think this song did it fantastic.
You couldn't do it any better than this song.
No,
Anyway.
not at all.
Okay, Jim Bowden. He's always on the cutting edge, and he'll say some controversial things, but I think that his proposed realignment is very controversial. Wanted to give you what Bowden thinks they should do. And again, it's East Coast or Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Here's the Eastern Conference. 4 divisions. In the East, he's got Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, Phillies.
Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, Phillies.
Other than the Dodgers, you're talking about the biggest payrolls in the sport. Right there.
Yeah.
All in one division. In the North, Reds, Guardians, Tigers, Blue Jays.
Reds, Guardians, Tigers, Blue Jays. Okay.
Keeping the Ohio teams together.
Yep.
Mid-Atlantic, Baltimore Orioles, Charlotte, if they get a team, expansion. Pirates, Nationals. Orioles, Charlotte, Pirates, Nationals. Mid-Atlantic in the East. And then Southeast Division, he's got Braves, Marlins, Nashville, Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, so I pulled up a map as you were going through this, and it's a map of the major league teams, and it gives you a better idea as you can see how they might corral some of these teams. So, thought maybe Nashville. Is Astros going to be in with the Cardinals?
Here is his Western Conference.
Okay.
In the Midwest, Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, Twins.
Yeah.
No Cardinals with the Cubs.
Oh, man. Well, that makes sense. I mean, that geographically it makes sense, I guess.
In the Southwest, he's got Cardinals, Astros, Royals, Rangers.
Yeah.
So you keep Astros, Rangers, and Royals and Cardinals.
So you have a rivalry there with both of those teams.
Yep.
Or both pairs of those teams.
And then back in the day, there was a great rivalry with the Houston Astros.
Absolutely.
And the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Back in the Killer Bees days with Biggio, Bagwell, Berkman.
Yeah.
Pacific Coast Division. Rockies, Athletics, who will be in Vegas, and they have put shovels in the ground in Las Vegas. Rockies, Athletics, Mariners, Giants. And in the West, Diamondbacks, Angels, Dodgers, Padres. So he's got Cubs and Cardinals split. He's got Dodgers and Giants split. But he did not split the Yankees and the Red Sox.
I think I would flip-flop the Giants and the Diamondbacks. I'd keep the Giants, because then that would give you what? That'd give you Diamondbacks,
So the
Rockies.
Dodgers would have two L.A. teams, Dodgers, Angels.
Right.
And then, obviously, Dodgers, Giants. So that's Bowden, and he's got a lot of pushback on that. MLB put together this list, MLB.com. NL East, Mets, Phillies, Pirates, Nationals. National League East, Mets, Phillies, Pirates, Nationals. National League West, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Padres, Giants. Kind of what you said. National League North, Cubs, Reds, Brewers, Cardinals. So you lose the Pirates because you're going down to 4 teams in the division. NL South, Braves, Marlins, Nashville or Raleigh, Charlotte, whoever gets the expansion, Nashville. Tampa Bay would switch leagues and go to the National League South.
Wow. Okay.
Braves, Marlins, Nashville, Rays.
Braves, Marlins, Nashville, Rays.
In the American League, AL East, Yankees, Red Sox, Orioles, Blue Jays. Not much change.
No.
AL West, Athletics, Angels, either Salt Lake City or Portland, whoever gets the expansion, Mariners, Athletics, Angels, Salt Lake, and Seattle. AL North, White Sox, Guardians, Tigers, Twins. AL South, Rockies go to the American League, Astros, Royals, Rangers. So you got the Astros and the Rangers. Same division. So that's just one thought from MLB.com. And there are so many different writers who have gone and done all of this realignment and their proposal and things of that nature.
A lot to digest.
I think so.
It is.
All right, I do want to get to this story before we get out of here real quick. Chiefs coach Andy Reid was nearly shot in May of last year while inside his office at the Kansas City practice facility. 15 months later, Wednesday, the Kansas City Star reported the Chiefs facility was the target of gunfire. 3 bullets hit the team's building. This is the practice facility, so not Arrowhead.
Okay.
While Reed was inside, one bullet reportedly came within 15 feet of the coach, between his office door and the bathroom.
Jeez.
Some players and staff were aware of the shooting, but the incident was not made public until this week. No one was injured. Only one person near any of the gunfire was Andy Reid. To date, no arrests or charges have been made in the case. It's being investigated as an aggravated assault. It is not believed Reid or the Chiefs were targeted. It appears to be a random act of violence and stupidity. According to the Kansas City Star, Reid's office has since been fortified with bulletproof glass. Kansas City Star.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it when I read the story. Anyway, so we wanted to get that in. We teased it, and I know you got to get your 3-day weekend going.
That's right.
Now.
That's right. I got to go. I got to go.
All right, then we will reconvene with you on Monday after a big weekend of sports. Chiefs are playing, I believe, is that tomorrow? I think the Chiefs are playing tomorrow. Let's see. Yes, against the Bears tomorrow night at GEHA Field, Arrowhead Stadium, 7:20. And, of course, we'll have it on Real Rock 99.3. So we will have a Chiefs game to discuss. And Monday will be our first coaches show.
Yeah.
Wings, etc. in Cape. And it will be game week for the Red Hawks, college football.
Looking forward
Closing
to
in
it.
on. All right. We'll talk to you then, and enjoy your 3-day.
See ya.
All right. That is the voice of the Mike Rennick Band. Mike Rennick. Hello to the radiant, ravishing Dawn Shawn. Just got her nails done. It's her day off. 2 days off in a row. Gonna go find a nice place to eat some lunch. Hello to the lovely and talented. Stay tuned. Clinton and Friends coming up. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.